Going to give you an overview today. Some good news. Some more good news. We had some great news last week. The death of Susan Wojcicki. Whenever you have a difficulty pronouncing a last name, always be suspect. It's oftentimes not a good sign, what I've noticed, my own personal experience. The former CEO of YouTube, which I was wondering why she let go of that position a couple of years ago, I noticed, and she didn't do anything else. So now we know why, and she had cancer, and hopefully you saw the video I made. If you didn't see it, you should watch it, because it just shows maybe I have a little more hope for humanity. Reading the comments on YouTube, just about everybody was happy. They hated her, and they acknowledged that she absolutely destroyed YouTube. Mass censorship, working with the world's biggest hate group, the ADL, which runs YouTube now, basically. Mr. Joel Greenblatt. She made YouTube into a scam portal, a huge scam portal. So today we've got another guy who, I guess he wasn't convicted of fraud, but that doesn't mean anything. Just because you're not convicted of fraud doesn't mean you're not a fraudster. Mark Cuban's proven that, right? Kevin O'Leary's proven that. So Mike Lynch, go ahead and talk about Mr. Lynch. When I saw this Mike Lynch, I said, wait a second, I recognize that name. Wait a second. And then I saw UK. Then I was like, wait a second, isn't that the guy? Because this happened a long time ago. This happened like almost 15 years ago. So isn't that the guy that sold his company to Hewlett-Packard, and he ended up scamming Hewlett-Packard? He cooked the books, and this destroyed Hewlett-Packard, by the way. Most of you, probably virtually none of you listening to this even know this, because it went so far back. Okay, so far back, I know this, and I pointed out how this was pretty much the beginning of the end of Hewlett-Packard. Well, not the beginning, but let's say another death blow. Hewlett-Packard, of course, has been facing some issues for a number of years prior to their spinoff, the separation from the Hewlett-Packard, as you know now, HPQ and the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. And, of course, they had to do that reorganization. But what really destroyed Hewlett-Packard, I think maybe the big blow was, what's her name? Gosh, I didn't even think about this before, but the piece of garbage out of eBay who ran Hewlett-Packard, Margaret, whatever her name, she ruined the company. Everything this lady touches, she ruins. But of course, she's in the right cabal, so they get all the good jobs. They don't lose their jobs. Speaking of that, by the way, let me just mention something. And I think I may have mentioned this before. You've got 3 of the worst CEOs, and I don't know why no one is calling for this. And when I get a chance, of course, I could be spending this time now going through my research and finding the material to show you the track record. I will eventually, how I telegraphed the collapse of Intel. Telegraphed from the high of 55, around 55, 60, all the way down. And I kept telling everyone in the research, it's a disaster. This thing is in deep trouble. And Belsinger is the problem. This guy's a loser. He's not going to turn Intel around. I talked about this more than a year ago. And I kept saying the same thing. But, of course, Belsinger, I don't know. Maybe I've got this special talent. I can just look at a CEO. I can listen to how they talk and so forth, and I can kind of see how that they're not fit. To me, it was obvious with Belsinger. This guy belongs in the PR department. He belongs in investor relations. He's not a leader. He has no fucking backbone. He's a bureaucratic idiot that can't get anything done. And that's the problem. No one's called for his resignation at all. Same thing with Zaslav, Warner Brothers. I mentioned this from the very beginning when the AT&T spun it off, and AT&T, if they had spun off that dog shit, they'd be going probably forcing close to insolvency. Because I tell you right now, Warner Brothers, as I've been talking about, they're going to have to be selling a lot of assets. They're in deep debt. They're in trouble. And the Zaslav, I mentioned from day one when it spun off, I said, look, this guy's a loser. Because I didn't know who was running it. They AT&T, I think they had, I can't remember who they had running the Warner. Maybe it could have been Stansky, but once it was spun off and with Discovery, and they had Discovery Clown running it, and I'm like, this guy's a loser. I mean, you can't run premium content. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And then, of course, you notice in the media, he gets hyped up. Oh, Zaslav, he's great. Oh, he's great. Whenever you hear someone getting all hyped up all the time for no reason, it's like, what's going on here? You know kind of what the deal is, right? They belong to a certain group of people. I've noticed that over my decades of life. Okay? That's what happens. And so they're protected. He's protected from that job. Think about that. He's destroying Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers may not fucking make it, at least where it is today. They may have to chop off a lot of assets to pay off that debt, because this guy has completely destroyed that company. Complete fucking failure. And guess what he made last year? He took home, I don't know, $38 million, right? But, he's, you understand what I'm talking about, folks. And then you got the other guy, Burla, CEO of Pfizer. One of the biggest fails I've ever seen in my life of how to completely destroy a company that was on top of everything, on top of the world. It just came out a few years ago with the coronavirus vaccine. Had huge sales, right? Just in the vaccine. Billions and billions and billions of dollars in sales, as you can imagine. Had a lot of cash, had a lot of momentum to push them forward. What happens? Well, take a look at the stock price. It went from 55, now it's 28. Why? Why did that happen? How did that happen? Because Burla is a fucking idiot. He doesn't know how to run a company. He doesn't know how to deal with Wall Street. And he's delusional. Instead of cutting guidance and seeing what was there, he kept pushing his bogus, unjustified optimism. Oh, no, we're going to have more of an outbreak. We're going to have another outbreak. We're going to need more. And now nobody has any confidence in Pfizer. It's so tainted now because of Burla. Is anybody calling for this guy's head? No. And you know why? He's protected. Okay? Meg Whitman, that's the lady who was the CEO of Hewlett-Packard. Yeah, she destroyed Hewlett-Packard for the most part. So, if you are protected, if you have your group of people and your hyper tribalism, you got it made. You got it made. So getting back to Mike Lynch, I was like, wait a second, what's that company's name? And I looked it up, and sure enough, yep, it was Autonomy. Autonomy. Anybody remember Autonomy? Probably not. Probably not. Let's take a look here. Well, there's not going to be let me see if they have it on the stock chart here. Hewlett-Packard, once great company, one of a pride of America, and is turned into dog shit. HPQ now is just a fucking commodities company. They make PCs and printers, basically, right? You're not going to do well. You're not going to make any money doing that business, okay? Why? Because you're having to compete with countries that cheat on cheap labor and massive government subsidies, such as China, which, by the way, of course, HP computers are made in China. So anyway, I mean, where's your distinction? Let's see if we can find it here on this chart. Okay, you see this? You see that? 2015, 2014. This is showing. Okay, no, it's yeah. Here you go. I think it's here after the autonomy situation. This thing collapsed. You can see it was under $10. This is autonomy. Okay. So this guy, Mike Lynch, and of course it recovered because they tapped a lot of value in the split off of HP Enterprise. And Enterprise, I don't really see them going anywhere. I've been sitting around looking at them. The only thing that they pay a pretty good dividend. I think they're acquiring Juniper Networks, which that company just. If you want to acquire a company to grow, you want to acquire a company that's got growth potential. Juniper has not fucking grown in years. It just kind of sits there. So I don't know what they're thinking about that. But anyway, so let me show you here. Let's take a look at the Wikipedia, disinformation source. For the most part, when it comes to things that aren't 100% factual and proven, it's oftentimes disinformation. But even things that they claim are factual and proven, they're not necessarily. And a good example of that, you can take a look at the entry on man-made climate change, which is, of course, locked. They don't want you to put any entries in there. And that's all a bunch of disinformation, by the way. Let's take a look at this guy. By the way, the first thing I want you to notice, take a look at this guy's picture. What do you see? Does this guy look like somebody you can trust? Let's make it a little larger. Look at this guy. Look at this guy's face. What do you think? What are you thinking when you look at this guy? Take a look at the features. Take a look at the phenotype. The phenotype. Let's see. Genetic expression, right? Expression of the genetic genotype, phenotype, right? Take a look. This guy looks like a swindler to me. Okay, just my opinion. I would be suspect. So you can see he's a celebrated entrepreneur. Autonomy, and he got $800 million selling this bullshit company to HP, which was kind of the final insult, which destroyed HP, forced that reorganization, and it's never been the same, and it's never going to be the same. HP, folks, you're talking about a legendary company that's gone by the wayside now. A company that used to be known for its cutting-edge technology innovation, right? Now, it's just dog shit, in part because of Mr. Lynch, who scammed HP. He cooked the books and convinced them it's a great company, autonomy that is. I think he got HP to buy for $13 billion. He made $800 million off that deal just alone. Of course, he's a billionaire now, this is how most of these billionaires become billionaires, by the way, in case you haven't figured that out. Okay. And let's take a look here. And so you can see that he was finally extradited. See, November 2012, HP announced $8.8 billion. It wasn't $13 billion. $8.8 billion. Wow. So he got 10% cut off that deal. Jesus Christ. And so it took more than 10 years, I guess, about 10 years before he was extradited to the U.S. So he lived a nice life for 10 years, finally extradition to the U.S. to face justice. His court case ended this March 18th. He was found innocent of all 15 counts of securities fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy. Can you imagine that? What do you think, folks? This proves if you've got enough money, you're going to go free, okay? That's the way it is. It doesn't matter what country you're talking about, even America. Clearly, this guy is a scammer, is a fraudster, but guess what? He's not doing the time, at least not at that period. Fortunately, it looks like there is a karma. Karma does exist because his yacht, which he purchased with all of this money that basically was stolen from Hewlett-Packard shareholders, sunk. This is the good news today, folks. I am very happy when bad things happen to really bad people because it's good for the world. It's good for the world. Unfortunately, his daughter has survived, which means the gene pool, his genetic material that possibly is embedded there, is making him a criminal. That criminal element could be in his genetics, his DNA. It's been passed on to his daughter, right? She's a survivor. I don't know. I would say there is somewhat of a genetic aspect to extreme deviant behavior. And of course, now she's a billionaire. Just goes to prove it, folks. I mean, if they didn't steal their money, they inherited it from people who did. Okay. That's just the reality. That's the way it works. I know a lot of people want to think, oh no, they started and they made it. It's the dream. Most of these people, folks, they get their money from the government subsidies. If it's not Elon Musk, it's Ross Perot. If it's not Ross Perot, it's Donald Trump's daddy. Okay? You can go down the list. Okay? Other times, just complete criminal fraud, and they get away with it. Great example, Bill Gates. So, this is the first piece of news that I wanted to celebrate today. The passing of Mike Lynch, the scumbag criminal. And I want more of these things. I mean, I want more. Give me more. Give me more. Right? More. The next piece of news is not so cheerful, but it's promising. And that is, we've got Kim.com. You guys remember Kim.com? A rather portly man, let's say. A portly man, right? I mean, I guess, is that appropriate? Is that okay to call him a large guy? Pretty large guy. Not just heavy. I mean, he's a tall guy. He's a tall guy and a large guy. And he's got a very obnoxious German accent. Anybody remember this guy? Most of you kids probably don't remember because he was making the waves about 15 years ago. And this is about when SOPA was being debated. You all probably don't even know what the hell SOPA is. Stop Online Privacy Act. It was a big deal back in 2010 and 2011, or 2011, yeah. And this was a big deal because I remember during that time, this was basically a law that they tried, or a bill they tried to pass into law to stop online piracy. In other words, it was related to intellectual property. In other words, mainly focused on big corporations. There's a lot of people that are using the content of big corporations, and they're making money off that through advertisement sales, right? I mean, it's even going on today, right? It's going on YouTube. And so there was a big push for this, and it was because of Kim.com is what he calls himself, because of his company called Mega Upload. Mega Upload. Some of you may remember that. So let's see what his real name is. And of course, Mega Upload was an illegal file sharing company, right? Kind of the second, third generation of Napster. And what's the other one? But basically, he built a website, or he didn't build it. He paid some people to build it, and it allowed people to upload files and share them. So people were spreading copyright protected content just giving it away. And of course, the people out there who always want something for free, too stupid to realize there's nothing for free, that content in most cases was tagged with malware and viruses, just like the same thing that happened with Napster. Okay, and why do you think everyone's going to be going out there and uploading all the free content to help everybody? It doesn't work that way, folks. You see? But anyway, so he made all this money, $175, $180 million, selling advertisements on his website, right? That website was where people went to upload and download content, much of which was copyright protected. It became so severe. It was in the news. I mean, Disney was pissed off. They were complaining. They were losing billions of dollars because of this guy. Many companies, the studios. And listen, folks, there's nobody that hates the media more than me. There's nobody that understands the absolute harm to society, to humanity that the media is doing than me. Nobody. And I fucking hate them. They're a criminal institution. But I don't condone this. You have a man that's trying to profit, or did profit, off the theft of the hard work of other people. Not just the media. You can't think of the media companies. Oh, evil Disney, evil Paramount, right? Evil Universal. No. You've got actors, you've got staff, you have writers, you have producers, you have people that are, that's their living. You understand? You see, you got a guy who comes in and tries to steal that, basically creates a portal for people to engage in criminal activity. He goes, oh, I just made the portal. You know, I'm not responsible. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay. So during that time when they were trying to pass this bill, I remember the big tech companies, Google, YouTube, all these companies were coming out. Yeah, stop SOPA, getting all these people to protest it. Why? Because Google's making all their money off of illegal fucking content. Remember, Google, the insanely sociopathic criminal company that runs YouTube. Remember, well, I shouldn't say remember, most of you don't know this. Google actually tried to make it legal to post digital copies of all copyright protected books for them to tag ads to make money. You all probably don't know this. These criminally insane, dirty rats, what they are, dirty fucking rats behind Google. Okay? So they manipulated the public, other companies, I think even Craigslist. He's run by another dirty rat. I think they were behind everybody with companies that don't really produce any real content, that use other people's content, other organizations' content, and they tag it with ads, right? They were against SOPA because that's where they make their money, exploiting people. So, you probably saw something on this guy, and so he's finally been extradited after all these years, hiding out in New Zealand. And you see, well, he's not worried. He has a plan. He has a plan. Okay. So, the thing that's sickening about this guy is that, he kind of positioned himself as kind of a people, this is about everybody. I'm for you guys. Make all the content free. You understand? And of course, the dipshits out there fell for this crap. Yeah, we support you. Yeah, and you're still fucking broke, and he's rich. You dumbasses. You got it? Complete con man. You see? It's kind of like, this Martin Shkreli guy pulled a similar fucking stunt, and all the kids, yeah, you're great. I'll get to that fucking twerp sometime in the future. An arrogant little fucking piece of shit actually thinks, I mean, this prick, this Shkreli guy, I'll talk about him in the future, actually would come on just to try and impress people. He would go and give college lecture. Well, he would go over college introductory chemistry. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like, why would you do that? Well, because I'm a really smart guy. No, you're not. If you were, you would have studied chemistry. You would have studied physics. But you didn't do that, did you? Anyway. And you have these fucking stupid, oh, well, you. So let's take a look. So this is part of his little scheme. He makes these videos. Look at me, I'm rich. Don't you want to be like me? Money, money, money. And you know, money worshippers, folks, you're going to hell. If you are a money worshiper, you're going straight to hell. In fact, I do believe, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard some things that the money worshippers, the kind of money worshiping people, their God is Satan. I don't know. That's what I've heard. Maybe some of you know. But this guy, money worshiper, he wants to show you the good life. Here's the good life. Let's take a look at the good life.
Let me introduce you to the good life.
So he's got the good life.
Let me introduce
He's a criminal. He stole his money and he wants to flaunt it and tell you he's got a good life. Think about that. I mean, are you fucking kidding me?
Let me introduce you to the good life. The good life. The good life. Let me introduce you to the life.
Ask yourself what wealthy person flaunts their money like this. Okay? When you have somebody, he wasn't even that fucking wealthy. He didn't even have $200 million. When you have people that do that, they're criminals. Okay?
4, 3, 2, 1. Let's have some fun. Come on.
Look at this guy. What a fucking loser. See this? He's trying to make himself into some fucking superstar.
Sleep all day, party all night. Have what you want, whenever you like.
Guess what, big boy? You might be going to fucking jail.
Sleep all day, party all night. Have what you want, whenever you like. Wait for the party to begin. Got my crew, good times is the plan. Got some pretty girls, about to roll in. We about to get it in. We do it like this and we do it like that. I just got paid, so my pockets all fat.
Yeah.
Brittany said the best you better
This
work for
guy's a
that. To
legend.
have a good life and that's
What's wrong with society, folks? They're calling him a legend, a hero. These people have something wrong with their fucking head.
the good life.
What's happened to society? And this guy is so stupid, he doesn't even realize this is one reason why he's getting the smackdown. He's getting the big fucking shalong. Because he's flaunting. He's thumbing his fucking nose at the governments and at these companies and saying, fuck you, I'm living the good life. I stole from you fuckers. Fuck you. That's why he's paying the price. Just like the farmer boy, Martin Shkreli. Stupid. They think they're fucking so smart, but they're so stupid they don't even realize the first thing about getting away with their fucking crimes. Keep your mouth fucking shut and don't flaunt it. If Shkreli had kept his fucking mouth shut, he probably wouldn't have faced prison time. can't see how he's. I don't think he's been up those floors, right? Think about it. You think this guy has made it up all the way up to those floors? You see what he looks like, and you say, I hope he has an elevator, right? So, folks, this is what we're talking about here. Scammers, criminals, they do it in different ways, right? It's a mindset. They're money worshipers. They'll sell their fucking mother for a penny. They're all over YouTube. They do it differently than this guy, but they're all the same. You can see here, it's a documentary on this guy. Okay, you can watch the documentary. So I'm happy. He's going to face justice, and notice his real name, Kimball. Interesting. Kimball's a name that a first name that kind of triggers me of knowing kind of his background, by the way. Interestingly, by the way, Elon Musk's brother's name is Kimball. You can kind of look at Elon Musk's his parents closely. Kimball Schmitz. Okay. So, and this guy, he had a pretty long life of crime. The problem is he never had to pay the price. He was always getting probation, right? And so he needs to be slapped down hard. He needs to go to jail for at least 20 years, in my opinion. Interesting. So I guess Tim Vester, Schmitz, I don't know. But anyway, so I'm happy. I like when bad things happen to really bad people. And, hopefully he's going to go to jail. That's good news. So let me just go ahead now and close this out and go ahead and tell you what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to give you a little overview here. And it's taken me like a while, like probably more than an hour to pull up all these sites that I have saved. I'm going to be talking about a guy I may have never talked about before, but I exposed him probably about 15 years ago on my site. Martin Armstrong, you probably don't know the guy. He's an absolute fraud. And in fact, I could do a whole channel exposing this guy. His schemes and fraud and bullshit is so pervasive and extensive. He's been doing it so long that you could do a whole channel and do nothing but videos. If you really know the guy, you know his whole game. It's kind of like doing one. I think a similar person would be Tim Sykes. You could do a whole channel, just nothing but Tim Sykes videos exposing this fucking fraudster, all his little tricks. Which, I don't know. I haven't done anything dedicated on Sykes yet, just because it's so extensive. I don't want to put out something kind of rickety rat. I want to put out something comprehensive. So I'm going to talk about Armstrong. I don't know about today, but I'm going to begin to talk about him. I have a video actually I did about 10, 12 years ago. I've got several, but this one, it was an audio. I'll release it soon. You can get a brief view of this guy. I'll probably talk about it a little bit today. I'm going to go get back to our friend Joseph Brown. I don't know if you know Joseph Brown, Heresy Financial. I downloaded his little webinar. So I haven't gone through it. I think it's like an hour or something like that, maybe a little longer. So I'm going to go through it live with you guys, whoever's going to be with me. I don't know when that's going to happen, because I would say going through an hour plus long webinar and critiquing it, I'm going to have to do a lot of stopping and talking. It's probably going to take well over 2 hours, I would say, because folks, these guys, I can't hold my breath longer than 10 seconds when they're talking, because every few seconds is going to have a disinformation from these guys. So I can't wait to go over that. And I'm sure I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bullshit I'll expose with this Heresy Financial clown. I already exposed some stuff. We'll see kind of what he's trying to pitch. And so I've got that one. What else? Oh, I was talking earlier. This is funny. I was talking earlier about Intel and Gelsinger, complete fucking failure loser. I ran across this the other day. Shareholders are suing Intel and Gelsinger. How bad it's been. I'm so happy about this. For misleading them. And you all should recognize what losers out there were telling you to buy Intel all this time. You know who they were, right? Right? Same guys telling you to buy Alibaba, right? And so, hopefully you saw the Felix video, the new one, the wine salesman. And it's also come to my attention now, his wife is, I've got a lot of stuff on his wife now as well. Just a total fucking fraudster. And the new material here, where are we? I can't find the original video that I exposed him as a janitor 2 years ago, 2022. He's telling everybody all this nonsense, and his stupid fucking little cult, they believe everything this guy says. He's a smooth operator. He's an agitator. He gets people to do his dirty work for him. This is a guy who he maintained a platform and still does on Discord, and encouraged people kind of indirectly on his site to defame me, talk shit about me, cyberstalk me, by the way. That's what this guy does. He gets people to do it, and you can notice it. You'll see comments, he'll try and get other people to do his dirty work for him. He's a fucking ballless coward, a spineless piece of shit, a pseudo-intellectual who went to a Tier 3 university. Okay? A Tier 3 university. Right? And you've got people out there, including, let me show you. So I want you to watch this. He tries to downplay, because see, I called this guy out. Some of you don't know. I called this guy out as a fucking grifter 2 years ago. He's in the grifter crew. These little grifter pack, 3, 4 of these guys, 4 or 5 of these guys hanging out, unifying, because they saw Meet Kevin and Graham Stephan and all these fake investment gurus making all this money, doing nothing but yapping, talking bullshit, following Kathy Woodstock. So guess what? They wanted in on the bullshit. So I saw them starting off, and I wanted to smack them down in the beginning. And
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
That's exactly what the fuck I did. Smacked them down. In fact, one of the crew, an overweight, balding guy, lost at least 2 jobs, and his family's broken up. Because he's a loose cannon idiot. And he tried to fuck with me. He didn't even do anything. This is what you're talking about, folks. These people are toxic idiots. If you're following a toxic idiot, guess what your life is going to be? It's going to suck. Just watch the video and you'll see, okay, what a fucking total douchebag this guy is. Hey, man boy, you need to give me a fucking apology. Okay? You got it? See, these fuckers are silent now because they know now. Like, holy shit, this guy is the big swinging dick. He is the top fucker. Okay? Now, some of them are too stupid. They don't even still realize. So I'm going to go over this prick more, and I'm going to show you. And by the way, everything I showed and looked at was not only public information. It was information that he posted, right, on his LinkedIn. I mean, and on the Facebook. about the janitorial company. He told his little followers that, well, we have this company. I'm the investment guy. It's a janitor company. It's a janitor company that his parents own. It's like some small little company. Like they have 3 employees. Okay? And he made it sound like, oh, well, it's kind of like Berkshire Hathaway. It's a holding company where we buy stuff. What? What do you fuck? He actually said this. And guess what? When I exposed him, he changed his LinkedIn. He removed that. Okay, and he put this, I'm a KPMG summer intern. Talked about how he's studying for his CPA. Guess what happened? Well, didn't get it. Failed it. He's still unemployed and unemployable. Okay? These guys, they don't get it. They're going to learn the hard way. I already warned them. They're ruining their chances of employment. They're ruining their chances of fucking employment. Now, this guy may think I'm not doing it. No, you are doing it. Okay? So we're going to go over this guy. I don't know when. You can watch the video. It's the most recent one. Okay. And then we've got, I want to go over this guy, Dan Ives. I saw this. This guy is a fucking idiot. He's a fucking pumper. Okay. And it's encouraging to see actually that the sheep that watch this, they've called him out the same. So this is 3 days ago. And of course he waits until the market recovers, right, from this huge sell-off. Well, we're in the early stages of a bull market. Okay? You can just read here. Okay, what I wrote. And you can see a lot of people calling him a fucking pumper, bullshit artist. I mean, we're in the early stage. Hey, dipshit. I called the bull market in June of 2023 in my research before anybody knew what the fuck was going on. You're just now saying we're in the... Folks, I'll tell you right now, if it's early stages of a bull market versus later stages of a bull market, if this guy is saying early stages of a bull market, you know what most likely the truth is. Okay? These guys are contrarian indicators. Dan
biggest
Ives.
loser on the NASDAQ 100.
And it's funny. I mean, Dan Ives, he's the type of guy, he's the same type of scammer as Meet Kevin. And look at him. He's wearing he looks like he borrowed a jacket from Meet Kevin.
We've been leading this.
We are just in the early stages of a bull market. And
listen to this guy. I mean, do you think he's really a real analyst? This guy's a fucking joke. Oh, the early stages of a bull. So if we're in the early stages of a bull market, tell me what last year was. June, July, August, right? December, January. What was all that? This guy's a fucking loser. Typical CNBC horseshit.
In the early stages of a bull market. And
listen to the guy. What a fucking idiot. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of go over that. Oh, yeah. And we're going to go over Plain Bagel, Richard Coffin, and Patrick Boyle. They're in a little fucking bromance. YouTube bromance. I'm going to go over them. Definitely going to go over these jugheads today. I'm going to show you something. Okay? Going to show you something interesting. In fact, I'm probably going to start off with this one. I'm going to shut this down now. And I'm going to start off a new stream. Probably start off with these two guys, and then move on with that. So, come back in about 5 minutes.